So, what is the latest with the Marilyn Manson situation? I have been furiously posting videos about it since the lawsuit dropped, since Marilyn Manson's lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood dropped. But those videos have almost all been interviews with other people. So I've interviewed legal experts. I've interviewed friends, former friends and roommates of Evan Rachel Wood and Marilyn Manson. I've talked to a former personal assistant, et cetera, et cetera. So it's been a little while since I've just talked to you about what am I thinking and feeling at this point. I think the last time that I just talked directly to you, it was right after the lawsuit, Marilyn Manson's lawsuit had come out. And I did this like short little gloating video, and I was gloating because I was happy. And I felt like, and I said this at the time, I felt like it was a kind of a vindication. And most of you got where I was coming from on that. But some people criticized me for that. They said that I shouldn't be gloating and that it was immature and childish, because Manson has not been vindicated. It's just a lawsuit. He's not won anything. All right. We've got a long way to go. Yes, I totally agree. Okay. I'm not a fucking idiot. Right. But look, for those of us, and it is not just me, it's a number of other people. For those of us who have been on this thing from the beginning, in my case, since literally from the beginning, because just within days of these charges against Manson dropping, and they all dropped at basically the same time because it was we know now it was a coordinated hit job. But you know, all the allegations basically, including Evan Rachel Wood's, dropped at the same time, like the same day or two period, in early February, a year ago. And so within days of that, I had a video up in which I was saying, hey, you know, hold on, we need to calm down. It is not beyond the realm of possibility that this could be a kind of a hit job, a media driven hit job by opportunistic women, or in Evan Rachel Wood's case, by women with a problematic relationship with their own past and a kind of delusional thinking. Like I said all of that within several days. And I'm not bragging. What I'm trying to explain to you is, and by the way, I posted that video on my Instagram because I went back this week. I wanted to see, since it has been a year, it's been over a year now since the allegations first surfaced. And now that this lawsuit has come out, it's showing people that there's another side to this. So I wanted to go back and I wanted to look at the first video that I did on the subject, which, like I said, came out within days of the lawsuit, the allegations against Manson. And yeah, I was asking people to hold on and to give this man the presumption of innocence and to understand that this is a complicated situation and it may not be as it seems. And really, I mean, that video has aged well. Now, why do I say all that? I say all that because you have to understand that, you know, for me and for people like me who have been covering this and have been assiduously arguing for Marilyn Manson's innocence, and at times feeling like we're arguing up against a brick wall because, like, everybody, you know, those of us who have been Manson supporters and believers in his innocence and who've been online talking about it or made videos about it or on Instagram or whatever, you know, for the most part, people have looked at us like we're crazy or we're rape apologists, right? So you try to explain like, oh, I'm devoting all this time to making YouTube videos, trying to persuade people that Marilyn Manson is innocent. It seemed strange to people. So it really did feel like a kind of, in a selfish sense, like a kind of a personal vindication. That at least now there is something that I can point to and I can say, hey, look, this is a lawsuit that this man has filed. He's fighting this. He's taking it seriously. And there are serious problems. There are serious reasons to believe that these allegations are a hoax and that Evan Rachel Wood and her girlfriend at the time, Ilma Gore, perpetrated this hoax against this man. So now, you know, that lawsuit gives us basically like a foothold, right? And I think, you know, I think that Manson has got to feel the same way, except in excess of how I'm feeling. But it is a kind of a vindication. I don't care if he hasn't won the lawsuit. Okay, I hope that he does, you know, but I don't care. To me, whether he wins, I care. But I'm just saying, even if he didn't win the lawsuit, people see he's out there and he's fighting, and they see now, like, there's, again, a document that we can all point to and say, look, they did this and this and this and this. That's what we allege. And look, there's evidence, you know, we have handwritten notes, text, you know, from Evan Rachel Wood to Ilma Gore and vice versa. we have the letter in which they impersonated an FBI agent. Okay, so there's evidence there, and I have a feeling there's more that'll be coming out. But you know, what do I know? So yeah, it does kind of feel like a personal vindication. So I don't intend to gloat in every video unless we get good news, which this week it's not been so far, and I'll get to that in a moment. But I don't tend to gloat in every video, okay? But it was like, after working really hard on this and feeling like I was one of not too many who were on this thing, I was starting to feel like, I've mentioned this before, but I was starting to feel like Kevin Costner in the movie JFK. So I'm a big film buff. I'm a huge film buff. And my favorite movie is Apocalypse Now, which, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop fidgeting with my hair. It's just, I don't think it looks good right now. And so I should have fixed it better. But anyway, I'm a huge film buff. Love my favorite movie is Apocalypse Now, which is where my moniker comes from. And someday I'll talk about that. But in my top 5 list of favorite movies is the Oliver Stone movie JFK. I think that movie is brilliant, no matter what you think about the conspiracy theory. And I realize that parts of that movie are very non-credible, supposedly, right? But, you know, as a work of art and as a conspiracy theory movie, that is just a genius movie. And the editing, I've never seen a movie with, those of you who are film buffs, if you've never seen the movie JFK by Oliver Stone, and you want to see the most incredible work of editing that you have ever seen, that is an astounding masterpiece. The level of editing that goes into that, it has a lot of different sequences, documentary style sequences that jump from era to era, and there's changes in and then the cinematography is the other thing I was going to say. I believe that it won Academy Awards for both cinematography and also for editing. But yeah, if you're a film buff and you appreciate amazing editing and amazing cinematography, check out JFK and DM me and tell me what you think about it. Because yeah, it's a 3-hour film or whatever. It's a long film, and yeah, it's got this really involved conspiracy theory. But I think it is really a suspenseful work of genius. But anyway, here's the thing. You know, Kevin Costner in this movie. He feels like he's this lone voice, and he's like living in a different reality than everyone else. And thank God for Instagram in this case. I never thought I'd say that, but thank God for Instagram, because that is how, and Twitter to a lesser extent. I don't like Twitter as well now, but thank God for Instagram, because it allowed me to find a number of people who felt the same way and had the same questions. And so that's been a great source of community in terms of those of us who think that Marilyn Manson is innocent. But my point is that, you know, for a long time it was lonely, and I think there were some people who thought we were kind of crazy for taking this up as a cause or defending that, being a rape apologist, which we were not. Don't believe he raped anyone. So yeah, it's nice now to have at least this fact. And this is a big thing now, because now there is a counter narrative. And the Overton window, to be pretentious, but the Overton window has shifted now. That lawsuit shifted the Overton window. And so, you know, of what is acceptable thinking in society, or at least what is acceptable to consider. And so now, instead of it being just basically verboten to say that Marilyn Manson might be innocent, or that these women might be shady, or this might be a hoax, that was verboten before. Like you couldn't say that, you couldn't think it or whatever, right? Or you were a rape apologist, or that's crazy. Haven't you seen like his music videos and stuff? Well, now there's a counter narrative. Okay, now people can actually feel free and comfortable to muse about or consider the other perspective. So that's good. So yeah, I think that lawsuit was a huge step forward. I think also it should put the accusers on high alert, that Manson he's not lying down anymore. You know, have you ever seen one of those movies? I'm sure that everybody has. One of those movies where people are in a fight, right? Like it's like the climatic combat scene at the end, right? Or face off at the end between the hero and the villain in whatever capacity that is, right? I always think about Predator at the end, where it's him and the Predator like slowly takes off the mask, right? And then Arnold is like, "You've an ugly motherfucker," right? And so anyway, though, like there's often in these types of like face-offs, there's this moment where like the hero, you know, is knocked down and it looks like they're gonna die, or it looks like they're down for the count, right? I'm sure it's in a lot of boxing movies too, right? And then there's like all of a sudden the momentum changes, or all of a sudden something shifts, and then there's a whole other dynamic then, and the person pops back up, or they whatever, and they surprise. It's always the element of surprise too, right? Like the bad guy is already like got this smug look on his face, knowing that he's, you know, he's beaten his opponent, right? Or even starts to turn away or whatever, and then or leans in to finish him off, and then the hero like opens his eyes and has some witty remark that he makes, and then comes out. Anyway, all right, I was enough talking about movies, but my point is that I feel like that's what happened with Manson. He got up off the mat with this lawsuit. And now, accusers, you're going to have to actually fight. You're going to have to actually, you know, this is not just going to be some fun little adventure now in the world of, you know, faux sexual assault victim advocacy. Okay, that you've been involved in. No. Now, actually, you're going to have to fight for these bullshit claims that you've made. Okay? And so that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. And you're going to have to fight, it's looking like a number of you are going to have to fight it in the courts too, and not just the court of public opinion. So yeah, I like seeing that. And I'm not going to be gloating every episode. That's probably the last episode for a while I'll gloat, or this one is if you think I'm gloating. But yeah, but that's why I was happy in the last one. Now, what doesn't make me happy, what I'm not happy about, is this bullshit story that Evan Rachel Wood comes out with this week, clearly trying to do two things, you know, as you all know, to deflect attention from the Marilyn Manson lawsuit, you know, to get those stories off the top of the search engine. And then also, you know, drumming up publicity, because this weekend is premiere weekend for Phoenix Rising. So, you know, you can all look forward to, I've already seen it, or I've seen a lot of it at the Sundance online screening. But yeah, you can all look forward, you can all look forward to seeing Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore, and it looks like Ashley Morgan Smithline and Ashley Walters and Sarah McNeely. Can someone tell me in the comments or DM, what's the deal with Sarah McNeely and the back stuff? I really want to know, because I've seen those promo brochures, or maybe it was an advertisement for some like bondage or extreme suspension show that Sarah McNeely did years ago. And it's got, she's on the cover of this, or she's on this ad, and it says Sarah McNeely, artist or whatever. And then you see the hooks through the back. Now, this is my question, okay? I did put that in an early video, one of my first. I've stopped referring to it since then, just because I don't really know, like, what's the deal with all of that? I know it's kind of kinky or whatever, but do the people who do this stuff really have like holes in their back, or is that a bit of theater? And so I guess what I'm asking is, does Sarah McNeely have holes in her back from these bondage suspension shows that she did, or would that not be the case? And do we know that that's legit? Those of you out in the community who know what I'm talking about, that advertisement that I saw, I thought it was legit. And I found it, you know, in a certain place online too, independently of the other stuff that was going around. But I would like someone's input if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, but anyway, here's the point. This documentary is you know, this is Evan Rachel Wood's and the other accusers who are depicted in it. This is the pinnacle of what they're doing, okay? They've already done the whole thing of getting the Phoenix Act passed, you know, and they went before the California Assembly, and they went before Congress, Evan Rachel Wood and Esme Bianco at one point, and they cried and told their stories and all of that. I think Ashley Walters was there too. But this is, and they've all, and a number of them have had, you know, interviews with Rolling Stone and interviews with People and photo spreads with People magazine and photo spreads with Rolling Stone. Wow, it's just a wonderful, like, fun thing, you know, like going around and talking about your rape, your sexual assault. It's just so much fun, you know, and you get to do those photo shoots. I mean, Ashley Morgan Smithline, hers especially, Esme Bianco to a degree as well. I mean, it seems like all of the accusers are really just shamelessly self-promoting the different media different interviews and the different media outlets that are doing these stories on them and these photo spreads and everything. It just seems like they're really enjoying that aspect of coming out and telling their story. It's one of the things I mistrust, you know. I mean, go look at Ashley Morgan Smithline's Instagram. I don't understand. And anyway, but where am I going with all that? I guess it's just to say that this HBO, you know, they've had a lot of fun so far, these women, but this HBO thing, this is the big shebang. This is their big premiere. This is their time to shine. And you know that they were hoping that this could all go off flawlessly without a hitch. And it's, you know what, whatever happens, even if HBO airs that thing, that I don't want to use overly dramatic terms, but yeah, but it's a piece of shit. Like, even if HBO airs that thing, and even if they don't put a disclaimer on it, which they really should, if you're going to air that piece of trash, you know, like my friend Celtic Iron did a great video the other day. You should check it out. I'll link to it in the comments and the description. But he did a great video. It's a petition to HBO to pull the film, and he goes through and he talks about all the reasons why why they should pull the film and why it's not a good idea, and makes a direct appeal to Amy Berg. You know, at the end, he's like, "Hey, Amy Berg, who's the director of Phoenix Rising." He's like, "Hey, Amy Berg, if you want a real documentary, there's a wrongly accused rock star that would love to talk to you." But anyway. So, what was my point with all that? Just to say that, that, you know that they thought, the accusers thought that this would be like their moment. And even if HBO decides that it's still going to run this thing and run it without a disclaimer or whatever, Marilyn Manson's lawsuit has put a strong opposing force out into the universe. And that is manifesting in a number of ways and will continue to manifest in a number of ways. In terms of, you know, the conversations that are, in terms of the conversations that are happening online, in terms of the kind of increased exposure that this alternative narrative that we have is getting now. I'm seeing more and more YouTubers who wouldn't touch this topic before of Manson's innocence. I'm seeing more and more of them coming out and doing doing videos and giving interviews. I did an interview on Popcorn Planet, which has a really large audience, and they were really gracious to have me there. And Andy, the host, was great. He knows what it's like. You should check out that video, by the way. It's on my it's linked in my Instagram stories. Andy knows what it's like to be falsely accused by multiple women. So that was an interesting conversation we had as well. But you know, there's something else now out there, okay? And it's not going away, ladies. To the Manson accusers, I would like to say that now there's a very strong counter narrative that exposes the fact that you are part of a hoax, a well-orchestrated hoax by Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore, in which a number of illegal things, including impersonating an FBI agent, but other things as well, check out my videos, other things as well, were done. And you ladies, you know, deep down in your heart or your brain or whatever you've got going on, you know that Marilyn Manson did not do these things to you that you say he did. I can't believe that all of you were that crazy. Although, you know what? It's entirely possible, given how many crazy women it seems like Marilyn Manson interacted with through the course of his career. But I just cannot believe that all of you are crazy enough to think that this man really abused you. It's not true. I don't think you're all that delusional, okay? So there's got to be at least one or two of you with some sense in your noggin, who can go ahead and do what is not only the beneficial thing to you personally in a self-serving sense, but also is just the right thing, okay? And you can come out and you can tell the truth. And you can disavow this documentary, and you can talk about the truth about who Brian Warner really is, and that he's very nice to women, and very nice to women he dates. And I've interviewed multiple women that he's been with on my show, and they say that. You can talk about the real Brian Warner, and you can also talk about what you've been involved in this past year, the nature of it, which is, you know, an orchestrated hoax. So that would be nice if one of you could grow a fucking brain and do that. But anyway, so yeah, this HBO thing's coming out. So, Evan Rachel Wood, she's got to fight. She's like Amber Heard, fight, 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 fight. And as my friend Celtic Iron said, it's like jujitsu with some of these accusers. And so Evan Rachel Wood and HBO, they're promoting this documentary, this 2-part documentary, which is all about trashing Marilyn Manson and all about spreading these defamatory lies about him by crazy, delusional, and or self-serving women. HBO's putting this out. And so, in an effort to drum up publicity for that, and also, like I said, I think as a counter to the publicity that Marilyn Manson has gotten for his lawsuit, Evan Rachel Wood, yesterday, she comes out with this, oh my God, story about how she got pregnant when she was dating Marilyn Manson. She got pregnant with his child. And she got an abortion, and oh my God, he made her cook him dinner after the abortion, she says. Now, several problems with this, okay? First of all, as I've talked about before, I have spoken with a number of people, okay? One of them on record, several people off record who are very credible, okay? And if I told you who they were, you would say, oh yeah, they're very credible. They all told me, including, like I said, one guy, Manson, officially on the record in an interview that you can find on my YouTube channel. They all told me that, in fact, that baby was not Marilyn Manson's, okay? That pregnancy was not his. It was another man. And that Marilyn Manson, so Evan Rachel Wood had a relationship, basically cheated on Manson with another guy and got pregnant and got an abortion. And Manson, from what I have been told, and you can see this in Manzon's, he's a Manson impersonator. You can see this in Manzon's interview on my channel. From what I've been told, she got pregnant from this other guy that she cheated on Manson with, and that Manson was so loving toward her and such a nice guy especially when it came to women, right? I can't vouch for the men, I haven't researched that, but for the women. Manson, that he helped her through this, that he was supportive. In fact, Manson, in the interview that he did, he said that he had a conversation with Marilyn Manson one night, and Marilyn Manson had expressed concern for Evan and the fact that she was going to have to go through this procedure, this abortion, and everything that she was going through. Now, here's a man who's just been cheated on by this woman, and this is his attitude. Okay, so she's lying about several things right off the bat. She just is. And I've got one interview refuting that, okay? One interview refuting that. But I can tell you that I have talked to several people independently off record who would know. And they tell me the same thing. It was not Manson's child. And he was very supportive. And also, I've been told, and I don't know how much this is going to matter to people, but it's another lie, apparently, that Evan Rachel Wood told in the midst of all of this. I have been told that Manson and Evan Rachel Wood did not have a functional the kitchen basically at that time that they were living, and that for various reasons it would have been Evan Rachel Wood would not have been cooking in that kitchen anyway. Now I know that seems like a minor detail; she could have cooked somewhere else or whatever. But I'm just saying it's one more issue with that story, if I'm remembering correctly, and so right off the bat, we know all that's bullshit. And then she has this, and then she says this thing about how, like, he fed her meth, but he also fed her sleeping pills because he was trying to tranquilize her. I don't know how and people online were like, how do you tranquilize someone with meth? But anyway, I guess there was something more complicated she was trying to express there, right? Anyway, I don't even feel like, dignifying the things that she said with more of a response than that. I really just wanted to call attention to the blatant abortion lies and the fact that I do have an interview on my channel refuting that, and the fact that I can assure you, talked to multiple people who would know, who off the record tell me that was the case, that it was not Manson's child, that she aborted, and also that he was very loving and kind and supportive, and would certainly not have been demanding that she cook him dinner. In fact, again, some of the women I've talked to that have been with him, who dated him, including Paula Weiss, the model, who dated him for months, kind of refer to him almost as a kind of, well, she said a chump when it comes to women. He's the one who gets manipulated. And I've talked to several people on my channel who have said that. Leslie, a woman named Leslie Lane, I have 2 interviews out with her now on my channel. And she not only toured with Manson and Evan Rachel Wood, she was dating Manson, a good friend of Manson's and Manson's roommate at the time. And she not only toured intimately with them, like where she was just them and her on the bus, but she also lived with them for a while when she lived with this other person. And anyway, she said that she never saw any abuse by Manson. And that in fact, it seemed like Evan Rachel Wood was the one who manipulated him. So anyway, that's what I got for you. But I'm going to have lots of things coming out tomorrow, the next day. I'm just going to keep it going. Look, my thoughts are that this is the most critical period right now, at least for a while in this story and in this situation. With the lawsuit has just come out. There are a lot of people who are now taking a look at this for the first time, or maybe taking a second look at it, or a real look at it. And then also, you know, this HBO documentary, it's going to be 2 parts. So it's going to be spread out. I'm assuming it's going to be spread out over a week-long period. So this is going to be basically starting with what we just saw with Evan Rachel Wood. It's going to be, I think 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks in the aftermath too of really bad publicity for Manson. But also, hopefully that lawsuit will get mentioned. And so, you know, I think that even though I'm still a small channel, I think that making these videos and putting them out there, I do think it helps. People see it on Instagram, they see it on Twitter, and if they do a search, Marilyn Manson or the Marilyn Manson case or Phoenix Rising documentary, they see some of my videos pop up. So I'm going to keep it coming, keep the pressure on. All right. Yeah. So I hope y'all will support me in that. Again, I always appreciate even the smallest donations, tips, PayPal, Patreon, and those links are up. And I will not apologize for asking for money, because I do work hard on this, like a lot of people do. Check out their Instagram pages as well. Stand by Your Manson, Marilyn Manson Uncanceled. Oh gosh, there are a bunch of others. But anyway, if you go to Instagram, you'll see a bunch of them. All right, everybody, have a good night. Bye-bye.